know we do this every year, and it's really easy to just kind of blow it off, think it's just another year, same old video. But, the best way to be prepared is to have a plan and think through the event before it occurs. We know from last year you don't have to take a direct hit from a hurricane to feel the fallout that would occur from the storms. So this is the time. Listen to today's briefing, follow the instructions, do those walkthroughs, start to prepare your staff. Make sure you have those emergency phone numbers all up to date. All those little things will help us if we're ever caught in that big hurricane that hits us, every generation or so. So pay attention, help your staff pay attention, and let's be prepared for the hurricane season.
Good morning, I'm Jennifer Ellis. I'm the Manager of Protection Services, and we're just going to go through the PowerPoint today to remind everyone. Okay. Today's agenda is we're going to look at the outlook, what NOAA has predicted for this year. We're going to remind everyone of the action levels. That's the district action levels 1 through 5, and then at the end we'll open it up for any questions. Okay, so NOAA's predictions this year: 40% near normal season, a 35% above normal season. Between those two numbers, that's a lot. So we only have a 25% below normal season. And the outlook is calling for the possibility of a weak El Nino and near average sea surface temperatures. So we'll have those warm temperatures. NOAA also is predicting 10 to 16 named storms this season, 5 to 9 becoming hurricanes, and then 1 to 4 reaching that major status. So going into the action levels, the district action levels, action level 5. All department sites need to review and update your emergency plans. Because we're in hurricane season, we're in an action level 5 right now. So this needs to be happening now. Identify your key personnel and roles. Update those phone numbers and get them to the Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Mr. Dennis. Conduct those inventories and status updates of all emergency equipment and supplies. Remember, the warehouse catalog has things like the flashlights, the batteries, and the plastic sheeting. Don't forget about generators. Make sure they're being tested. Okay, the action level 5 shelter list. This has not changed. I think this has been the same for about the last 3 or 4 years. Remember, we have the 10 general public shelters and the 1 special needs shelter over there, top right, West Florida. The communications during the action level 5 are internal. Of course, we have a pre-event and a post-event. Our pre-event weather and situational updates are via district email. You guys know the Protection Services sends out a lot of emails updating you on the weather. We also use phone trees, the district info line, and the media. And then post-event, we also use the phone trees, the district information line, and the media as well. Action level 4, we have changed somewhat. The storm has gotten a little bit closer to us. That means it has moved into our action trigger of the quadrant 74 degrees west and 14 degrees north. That triggers us for our action level 4. Protection Services will now start meeting with the EOC and advise the superintendent of those meetings. And all sites and departments will be notified via a lot of those emails again through Protection Services. This is that quadrant that I just spoke of. And when the storm reaches this area, this is when it signifies to us that we are now in the district's action level 4. Again, the preparation for action level 4, school administrators and department heads will meet with key personnel, review their emergency plan. This should be already happening, making sure you're getting those updates to Mr. Dennis. But you're going to sit and plan with them and make sure everybody's on board. School administrators and department heads initiate all the necessary action items, and then we need to be on alert with shelter managers and making sure they're getting the information that the storm is getting closer. Okay, for action level 4 mitigation, we have pre-stage emergency equipment and supplies. We're preparing to secure all information systems and computers. We're checking the schools for key personnel communication equipment, and we're preparing to secure all equipment and materials on the exterior of the building, which includes PE equipment, driver's ed equipment, and things like that. Okay, at this point, the storm is very close, and we have moved into an action level 3. Protection Services has now met with the EOC, our emergency managers, and we are getting together a plan now. The district severe weather management team meets. The district meetings for principals, directors, and other key staff begins, as well as information is distributed on the district's information line. Preparation and mitigation, secure all equipment and material located on the exterior of the building, and designated shelters are prepared to open. Action level 2. At this point, the superintendent is declaring an emergency and announces the closing of schools. Closings are announced via the internet and external communications. A severe weather management team and key personnel are meeting, and we are deployed. Protection Services is deployed and manning the EOC. Okay, for preparation mitigation, all implementing of the site protective measures is occurring. Complete securing of information systems and computers. Backup and secure all critical computer information. And we need to complete securing all equipment materials located on the exterior of all buildings. And then action level 1, the storm is here. We are bunkered down. Schools are evacuated and secured. Shelters are open and manned. District offices are evacuated and secured. And the EOC Protection Services will be communicating to everyone all the updates from the EOC. Okay, so the storm passes. No employee should report to school sites until recalled by the superintendent. This includes school administrators. After the county EOC declares the roads safe for key staff to travel, the district has an assessment team that will be dispatched to conduct the initial assessment damages. Principals will not conduct this initial assessment damage. We have a district team to do that. Maintenance and facilities planning will implement critical repairs and protective measures to render those buildings safe. Pertinent information will be communicated via available internet and external communication systems. And shelters will remain open until the EOC tells us that we're going to close them. After the EOC declares the community safe and all school sites have been declared safe, the superintendent will advise principals and conduct secondary assessments. All damage should be reported to maintenance, and debris removal will be initiated where necessary. Principals will not call in any employees or allow any employees on site until advised to do so by the superintendent. And then also through the post-storm, we have severe weather management teams meeting to assess damage to schools. And we have 4 phases that we talk about to include the recovery. The first phase is the immediate recovery that's needed. The second is the immediate restoration. We have a logistics in our level 3, phase 3. And then in phase 4, we figure out our long-term recovery efforts. So to prepare, we have to prepare the same for every season regardless of how much activity is forecasted. And any questions?
Again, when you hear the presentation, a lot of it's about protecting our stuff, our buildings, our equipment. That's important because that's going to help us recover and get our community back in school. But don't forget, the most important asset we have are our people. That's why some of the rules about not entering a school after the storm are in place. That's to protect people. We put people in the building that are trained to deal with down power lines and all those kind of issues that might occur after a storm. So don't lose sight. You need a plan. You need to be prepared. But don't lose sight of your own staff and faculty members, team members at your site that they need to be prepared personally to weather the storm as well. This is a good time to think not only about our school plan, but what are you going to do at your home? What are you going to do for your house and to prepare yourself for the storm? We hope we never have to implement these procedures this year. We hope that this will be one of those seasons we'll coast through. We'll not have to have any days out of school because of hurricanes. But if we do, we will be ready, correct?